Well, we are in playoffs, and Dignitas has just triumphed over TSM, casting them into the Shadow Realm, which they may never return from. This coverage is brought to you by Alienware. Jensen, how exhausting was that 5-game series? Because you've also done like an hour of content afterwards, so how are you holding up?
I mean, I'm getting a little tired right now, but to be honest, it's gonna sound weird, but I think game 4, I was just playing worse because I was getting exhausted, and then game 5, I was like much more in the zone. Okay. So like at that point, I didn't feel exhausted, but now I'm getting a little tired. Yeah.
I have that sometimes where it's like the middle of the afternoon and I feel like taking a nap, and then if I power through it, suddenly I get a surge of energy around dinner time. So that was you in that 5-game series.
Yeah, I think the second coffee started kicking in later on. Yeah.
Okay. So Emily was out here earlier, and she was telling me that you have this thing where you get a giant coffee every day, and then you just slowly sip it through the game day, and you have to get ice because you don't drink it fast enough. This was her story, and she used to be a journalist, so clearly she didn't lie.
Is that her story or her theory? Because it's not like fully true. Okay. I mean, I do sip on a coffee, yes, and then like after like 2 or 3 hours, I'm done with it. And then like after 2 to 3 hours again, I need to like re-up. Okay. So that's what happens.
Okay, that's what happened. The caffeine was dipping, and you needed to get back into the zone. All right. What was it like playing against Insanity? Because he's obviously a player that's gotten a lot of attention over the split. You sent him home now. He's done. But what was it like playing against him?
I mean, I kind of know like how he plays because he was on our academy team last split, RIP. But he's generally like pretty consistent, and he kind of just plays whatever he wants to. So it's hard to predict what he wants to play. So I guess that's like a good upside he has. And I mean, overall, like he's pretty good for an NA player.
Yeah, pretty good for an NA player. I feel like a lot of people are going to like take issue with that. Maybe you can expand on it. Like, one, do you count yourself as an NA player? Because I think a lot of people have that. So I don't know if you feel like you're pretty good for an NA player. Like, maybe you can elaborate.
Sometimes I'm an NA player. Yes. So I guess it depends on the day. No, but I think he's pretty good. I mean, normally NA mids are not the best, but I think he's pretty good.
What have you thought about, just as a side tangent, the NA mids we've had this split? Because they've been getting a lot of attention. I've even hyped them up myself, but maybe it's just a result of the mid lane pool being weaker. I don't know. Because obviously, like, APA came in, and Sandy was supposed to be only there temporarily. He stuck around. Jojo is an MVP candidate. What have you thought about the mid lane pool?
I mean, I think they're okay. I mean, Jojo is outstanding. I think he's better than the rest by like a significant amount. But the other like players, they tend to just do what the team needs. They're not like very hard to play against. They're not like in your face, like pressuring you for every CS and like stuff like that. Whereas like Jojo is kind of like that. So I think he's different than the other ones. But I mean, they do their job on their teams pretty well for the most part. So not bad. I mean, in the past, NA mids were complete dog shit, but they are better now.
Well, I'm glad to hear they're growing. All right, let's talk a little bit about Dig. Obviously, everybody keeps being like, "Oh, Jensen, he always makes worlds. He always makes worlds." How hard of a path is it this year compared to previous years, in your opinion, for you to make worlds? There's technically up to 4 spots now, so you kind of have like an extra half a spot.
I mean, if I'm not wrong, if we just win the next one, we just have to beat EU, unless you just count as winning the next series going to Worlds. Then, I mean, it's just one more series for the top 4, I believe. Yeah. I mean, we haven't really clicked fully as a team, so in that sense, it's definitely harder, but I think our path to get there is not bad. So I think we do have a pretty good chance, honestly. But yeah.
I assume there's maybe more competition. I mean, Dig is not a team that has been historically a Worlds contender or a Worlds attendee. So do you feel like it's a tougher path at all? Because a lot of people are like, okay, Dig never makes Worlds, but Jensen always makes Worlds, so what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, so then it's just a 50-50, right? Because they don't make it and I make it, so we just flip a coin and then hopefully we make it. But I mean, I think we definitely have what it takes to make it. We're obviously an underdog. I think everyone knows that. And we have things we need to work on, but I know this team has potential. We just need to play a little bit better, make a little less mistakes, work on the bigger mistakes. But I mean, we got this.
Spring was a struggle for you guys. Summer has been a very different story. What is the reason why summer's been so different?
Change top lane, change support. And I think I'm playing a bit better too. Everyone else is stepping it up a bit more as well. But those are the big reasons.
Yeah, can you talk to me a little bit about Rich? Because obviously he's been getting a ton of attention. What has it been like playing with him? Does he ever accidentally call out like Heroes of the Storm call-outs?
Not exactly, no. But he's been amazing to work with. He's much better than what I expected. I was like, oh, we're gonna get like some washed up Korean who probably doesn't even care anymore. Yeah. But no, he's really good, and he's a really good team fighter and a really good laner. So I've been very happy to play with him.
What's he like as a teammate?
He's good. He's very honest. He doesn't beat around the bush. So if he sees a problem, he's like, hey, you suck. Why did you do that? Kind of thing. So easy to work with, not toxic, and straight to the point.
I like that you're like, he's straight to the point. He'll just tell you suck. And you're like, but easy to work with, not toxic. It's so funny because that's such a like, I don't know, old guard. Yeah. Contradictory, but also old guard point of view, right? Yeah. Where like the old days that everybody was just like, oh yeah, C9 and TS7, everybody, they're just all screaming at each other behind the scenes. And that's how they're getting good. But I guess that's the way you perceive it to be really good.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't say it in like a toxic way, he's just like, making sure we realize our mistakes and we can focus on them and move on, and he has good mental, like he doesn't tilt, so good to work with in my opinion. Okay,
for the rest of the playoffs, who do you think are going to be your toughest opponents?
To be honest, I was really surprised that TL lost to Energy. I kind of viewed them as like our toughest opponent, TL. But they lost, so I mean they can still be the toughest opponent, right? Like maybe they'll bounce back. But maybe TL, maybe C9. But to be honest, for me, I'm just focusing on who I'm gonna face next week. Yeah. But I think TL gives us the hardest time.
Well, we'll see how they do tomorrow, I guess, as they play. But other than that, anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there, Jensen?
Let me think. Well, it's playoffs this time around, and I hope I can make you guys proud. I will do everything I can to try to make it back to Worlds again. It's very important to me. And thank you guys again for supporting me throughout my long career. And thank you.
Thank you very much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. LCS is here, and so is my coverage. And while you might think that most of what I do here is just interview people, it's actually also about trying to impress people, because reputation matters at the LCS. You need to look stylish. That's why right now I'm sporting my 720H headset available from Alienware. But also, the coolest thing that really helps me stand out from the crowd is walking into LCS with my new M18, featuring their new Legend 3.0 design. The anodized aluminum lid with the dark metallic moon finish is very cool and helps me stand out from the crowd. People know I'm the coolest when they see me with an Alienware notebook that has an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 40 series GPU in it. So thank you so much to Alienware for sponsoring and helping me stay fashionable.